Have you ever woken up and felt like happiness is just out of reach? Like it's something other people get to have, but not you? I've been there too. And here's the truth. Happiness doesn't just happen. It's not something you stumble upon. It's something you choose, something you push yourself toward every single day. Think about this. Your mind is like a garden. If you leave it unattended, weeds of negativity creep in. But if you water it with gratitude, joy, and self-love, beautiful flowers grow. You have to water it every day, even when it's hard, even when you're tired. I remember a friend of mine. Let's call her Sarah. She had everything on paper, a great job, a loving family, friends, yet she often felt sad, unmotivated, stuck. One day, she made a small change. Every morning, she wrote down one thing that made her smile. One tiny thing. A coffee she loved, the sound of birds, the smile of her child. And slowly those tiny sparks grew. Happiness didn't hit her like a lightning bolt. It was a steady, patient climb. Happiness isn't about perfection. It's about effort. It's about deciding, today I will see the good, I will smile, I will push myself to feel joy. And yes, some days you'll stumble. Some days it will feel impossible. That's okay. That's life. But the key is not giving up, not letting the dark moments define your story. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today that my future self will thank me for? Maybe it's calling a friend. Maybe it's taking a walk. Maybe it's just pausing and breathing. Small steps. They add up. Happiness is not a destination. It's a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. And here's the secret. The world becomes brighter when you choose joy, because happiness is contagious. It spreads through your smile, your energy, your actions. Here are some key points related to this. Happiness is a daily choice, not a random occurrence. Small, consistent actions, gratitude, smiles, appreciation, create long-term joy. Life's challenges are inevitable. Happiness grows stronger when you persist through them. Happiness is like a muscle. Exercise it regularly to strengthen it. Your joy affects not just you, but everyone around you. Focus on the present moment and take deliberate steps toward feeling alive and fulfilled. Happiness is a daily choice, not a random occurrence. Imagine waking up to a gray, cloudy morning. The alarm rings, your bed feels heavy, and the world outside seems dull and indifferent. You could hit snooze and let the day drag you along, letting irritation, fatigue, or stress take the wheel. Or you could choose differently. You could push yourself just a little to start noticing the small sparks of life around you. The steam rising from your coffee cup, the soft warmth of sunlight sneaking through the curtains, the rhythm of your own heartbeat reminding you that you are alive. That moment, seemingly ordinary, is yours to claim. Choosing happiness is about seeing the ordinary as extraordinary, about deliberately focusing on the things that feed your spirit, even when nothing seems perfect. I remember talking to a man named Raj, who had been through one of the toughest years of his life. He lost his job, his relationship ended, and he felt completely invisible in the world. One morning, he told me he forced himself to write down 3 things he was grateful for, even if they were small. The cup of tea he liked, the song that reminded him of better days, the neighbor who waved at him on the street. At first, it felt silly, almost meaningless. But slowly, those small choices began to ripple through his days. He started smiling more, noticing the subtle beauty in his surroundings, feeling a tiny spark of warmth when he interacted with others. Choosing happiness that day wasn't a magical event. It was a conscious act, a decision to see light in the cracks of his life. And this is the core of it. Happiness isn't waiting somewhere out there for you to stumble upon it. It's waiting inside like a seed in the soil. You have to water it. You have to give it sunlight. Some days, the soil is dry, the weather harsh, and the seed seems buried under too much darkness. But every time you make a small, deliberate choice to smile, to notice, to appreciate, you are turning a little knob of light on in your heart. As William James once said, the greatest discovery of any generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitude. Every choice to embrace joy, no matter how tiny, is an act of courage, a declaration that you will not be passive in the story of your life. Think about the little moments that often go unnoticed. The sound of rain against your window, a friend sending a message just to check in, the taste of chocolate melting on your tongue. Each one is a brushstroke of happiness, waiting for you to notice it. Choosing happiness every day is about deliberately collecting these brushstrokes, letting them paint a brighter picture of your life. It's about realizing that while you cannot control every storm that hits your world, you can decide whether to dance in the rain or simply close the blinds and stay in the shadows. Small, consistent actions create long-term joy. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast forest, staring at a single tree in the distance. You could try to jump and reach it all at once, but the truth is, growth doesn't happen in leaps. It happens in tiny, deliberate steps. Happiness works the same way. It isn't something you catch in a single moment of luck or achievement. It is built quietly, day by day, through small choices that often feel insignificant at the time. Think about the morning rituals of someone who seems effortlessly joyful. They don't wake up with a constant smile plastered on their face. They wake up and make a decision to pause and breathe, a decision to thank the universe for the sunlight spilling into their room, a decision to call someone they care about, even if it's just to say, "I'm thinking of you." I knew a woman named Layla who had faced years of disappointment and loss. Every day felt heavy, and she often wondered if joy would ever find her. One day, she decided to start small. Each evening, she would write down one positive thing that happened, no matter how minor: a stranger holding the door open, a warm cup of tea, a song that made her heart lift. At first, she doubted it mattered, but as weeks passed, these tiny entries began to shift something inside her. She noticed herself smiling more often, greeting the world with softer eyes, feeling light in moments that would have once gone unnoticed. These small actions didn't magically erase her struggles, but they built a foundation of resilience and hope. Happiness grew slowly, like ivy creeping across a wall, until one day she realized that her life felt brighter simply because she had made the choice consistently to see the light. The human mind craves consistency. Neuroscience tells us that repeated behaviors form neural pathways, and over time, these pathways make it easier to experience joy naturally. It's why athletes train daily, why musicians practice for years, why gardeners tend to plant bit by bit. Joy, gratitude, and positivity work the same way. They strengthen with repetition. You water them, and they flourish. You ignore them, and they wither. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Each small action you take, choosing to smile, choosing to forgive, choosing to notice beauty, is a brushstroke painting the landscape of your inner life. Think of the ripple effect, too. A small smile to a stranger, a kind word to a friend, a moment of patience with yourself may seem minor, but it spreads. It echoes. It touches hearts you may never meet. Consistent small actions accumulate into something powerful and undeniable. Happiness is an event. It is a series of choices stitched together day after day, until one morning you wake up and realize that joy isn't fleeting anymore. It has taken root quietly, beautifully, without fanfare, in the everyday moments you once overlooked that life's challenges are inevitable. Happiness grows stronger when you persist through them. Picture a storm rolling across the horizon, dark clouds swallowing the sky, lightning crackling, rain pelting against everything in its path. You can either hide indoors, wishing the storm would pass, or you can step outside, feeling the cold drops on your skin, letting the wind test your strength, and discovering that you are sturdier than you imagined. Life, in many ways, is that storm. Challenges, disappointments, heartbreaks, they hit us all. And yet, it's in facing them, not avoiding them, that happiness deepens. I remember meeting Ahmed, a young man who had built his life around stability. He had a steady job, a comfortable routine, and a circle of friends. But one day, everything fell apart. The company he worked for downsized, leaving him unemployed. His relationship ended. He felt like the world had turned its back on him. He could have given in to despair, waited for circumstances to improve, and let bitterness take root. But instead, he made a choice. Every morning, he forced himself out of bed and repeated a single mantra: "This is hard, but I will not let it break me." Some days, he could barely speak the words without his voice trembling. Some nights, tears kept him awake. But with each repetition, with each small act of persistence, he built a resilience that became the foundation of his joy. Happiness, in this sense, isn't fragile or fleeting. It doesn't evaporate when things go wrong. True happiness is forged in the fire of adversity, strengthened each time you decide to rise despite the weight pressing on your shoulders. Helen Keller once said, "Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition inspired, and success achieved." Ahmed discovered this firsthand. Months of struggle eventually gave way to a renewed sense of purpose. He found a job that challenged him in ways his old one never had. He formed deeper friendships built on shared understanding, and he experienced joy in small victories he had once taken for granted. Consider the analogy of a muscle. You can't strengthen it by sitting idle. Resistance is required. Pain is part of growth. Life's challenges are the resistance training for your soul. Each setback, each disappointment, each moment of fear and uncertainty is an opportunity to strengthen your inner resilience. And the more you push through, the more your capacity for happiness grows, not in spite of difficulty, but because of it. Even the smallest moments of persistence matter. A smile given when you feel weary, a kind word offered when you're frustrated, a breath taken in patience during chaos. All are acts of quiet courage. They build an invisible fort around your heart, allowing joy to flourish even amid hardship. Over time, these acts accumulate, and you begin to notice that happiness no longer depends on smooth roads or sunny days. It thrives in the very soil of challenge, nourished by your determination to keep going, your refusal to surrender, and your choice to find light even when darkness surrounds you. Happiness is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. Imagine walking into a gym for the first time. The weights look heavy, your body feels weak, and every movement seems like a struggle. At first, you can barely lift the smallest dumbbell, your muscles trembling, your mind doubting whether you can ever get stronger. But day after day, repetition builds strength. The soreness fades, the movement becomes easier, and before long, what once felt impossible becomes routine. Happiness works in the same way. It is not an accident or a stroke of luck. It is a practice, a discipline, a skill that grows each time you choose it, even when it feels unnatural. I think about Maria, a woman I met who had endured years of loneliness and heartbreak. She often described her mornings as gray, her evenings as hollow, her days as a series of empty motions. One day, after reading a quote by Viktor Frankl, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. She decided to start small. Every morning, she would find one thing to smile about. Some days it was the chirping of birds outside her window. Other days it was a text from a friend she hadn't spoken to in months. At first, it felt forced, awkward, almost futile, but she kept at it. Each smile, each moment of noticing something good, was like lifting a tiny weight in her emotional gym. Slowly, she felt her capacity for joy stretch and strengthen. Our minds respond to repetition in remarkable ways. Just as athletes strengthen muscles through consistent training, our brain pathways for happiness become stronger the more we practice positive thoughts, gratitude, and intentional joy. Every time you consciously choose to smile, to appreciate, to forgive, to be present, you are training your inner muscles. You are telling your mind that joy is possible, that it is not only allowed but necessary. And over time, these small, consistent choices accumulate, making happiness not just a fleeting feeling, but a durable state of being. I remember a story from a teacher who shared how she encouraged her students to write daily gratitude journals. Some students groaned, thinking it was pointless. Others embraced it reluctantly. Months later, the difference was clear. Those who persisted reported feeling calmer, more optimistic, and more connected to the people around them. Their joy didn't come from external circumstances. It came from exercise an internal muscle of noticing, appreciating, and choosing positivity. Just like any physical exercise, there were days they skipped, days they struggled, days they felt weak, but the strength they had already built carried them through. Happiness, when treated like a muscle, is resilient. It grows stronger not in perfect conditions, but in ordinary ones, in the quiet repetition of small choices. It thrives when you choose it even in the midst of chaos, when you push yourself to see beauty in the mundane, when you stretch beyond your comfort to greet life with curiosity and hope. And here's the remarkable part. The more you exercise it, the more natural it becomes. What once required effort eventually flows effortlessly. Smiles come easier. Gratitude feels instinctive. Patience becomes second nature. And joy becomes a default state rather than a rare visitor. Think about it this way. Every kind word, every small act of self-care, every moment spent appreciating the world is a rep in your happiness workout. Some days will feel exhausting, some days impossible, but the cumulative effect is undeniable. Over time, your inner strength grows, and you start approaching life differently. Challenges still exist, difficulties still arise, but your resilience, your capacity to choose joy, allows you to move through them with grace. Like muscles that grow stronger under strain, your happiness deepens and broadens, making you capable of experiencing life's beauty more fully, more consistently, and more powerfully than you ever thought possible. Your joy affects not just you, but everyone around you. Imagine walking into a room where the energy feels heavy and tense. Conversations are clipped, faces are tight, and even the air seems weighed down. Now imagine walking into a room where someone is smiling, genuinely present, radiating warmth and calm. Suddenly, the mood shifts, people relax, laughter emerges, eyes meet with recognition and connection. Happiness is contagious, not in a superficial way, but in the subtle ripple of energy that flows from one heart to another. When you choose to be joyful, you are not just serving yourself. You are sending out a vibration that can change the tone of every interaction, the trajectory of a day, even the lives of people you may never meet again. I think of a man named Daniel, a teacher in a small school. His students came from difficult backgrounds, many carrying burdens no child should bear. At first, Daniel felt overwhelmed, almost powerless. But he noticed that when he entered the classroom with a smile, spoke with warmth, and treated each child with patience, even the smallest gestures had an enormous impact. A shy student who never raised her hand began participating. A child who struggled with anger started calming down during lessons. The happiness Daniel cultivated inside himself spilled outward, changing the lives of those around him. One day, a student whispered, "You make school feel like home." Daniel realized in that moment that happiness is not a selfish pursuit. It is a gift, a light that, when nurtured, spreads farther than you could imagine. This ripple effect exists in everyday life too. Think about your family, your friends, your coworkers. A simple smile at the breakfast table can shift the mood for everyone. A kind word in the midst of stress can calm tempers. A laugh shared during a difficult moment can remind everyone that life, even when hard, still has sweetness. Mother Teresa once said, "Spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier." Happiness is not a finite resource. It multiplies when shared. By choosing joy, by cultivating it within yourself, you become a source of light in the lives of others. Even small interactions matter. A barista greeted with warmth may carry that kindness into their next conversation. A stranger offered patience in traffic may slow down their own anger and influence others around them. Think about the invisible threads that connect us all. Energy passes from one person to another in subtle, profound ways. When you are joyful, you strengthen those threads, weaving a network of positivity that grows stronger with each intentional act of happiness. And it is not just about being cheerful when everything is perfect. The true power of this ripple effect shows when you maintain your inner joy in moments of tension, disappointment, or fatigue. Your stability, your presence, your choice to find light, even in darkness, becomes a model for others. It is an unspoken lesson that happiness is not a product of circumstance, but conscious decision, a muscle trained through practice, resilience, and mindful action. Imagine the world if each person recognized this truth. A smile becomes revolutionary. A kind word becomes radical. Choosing joy in the smallest moments sends a wave through families, communities, workplaces, even entire cities. By nurturing your happiness, by choosing to cultivate it deliberately, you are creating a network of light, hope, and energy that extends far beyond your own life, touching corners of the world you may never see, yet leaving an impact that is lasting, undeniable, and profoundly beautiful. Focus on the present moment and take deliberate steps toward feeling alive and fulfilled. Imagine walking through a crowded city street, your mind racing with 1,000 thoughts about yesterday's mistakes and tomorrow's uncertainties. The honking cars, the chatter strangers, the smell of fresh bread from a nearby bakery. Most of it passes by unnoticed because your mind is elsewhere. This is life slipping through your fingers. Happiness does not live in the past or the future. It lives in this very moment, in the small choices you make right now to notice, to breathe, to engage fully with life. I once met a woman named Aisha, who had spent years planning her future meticulously, always chasing the next milestone, the next achievement, the next reward. Yet she was constantly anxious, always waiting, never satisfied. One morning, during a walk in the park, she noticed a child laughing as she chased a balloon. A dog ran past, barking happily. An elderly man fed birds with gentle patience. For the first time in years, Aisha stopped. She breathed in the crisp morning air, felt the warmth of sunlight on her skin, and realized that she had been alive all along but had not lived. That single act of pausing, of anchoring herself in the present, became a turning point. From that day forward, she started small, deliberately noticing moments of beauty, savoring meals without distraction, listening fully to friends without thinking about what to say next. She discovered that the present, once embraced, holds an abundance of happiness if only we choose to step into it. Focusing on the present is not about ignoring responsibilities or challenges. It is about giving your full attention to the moment you are in, allowing life to reveal its richness. Eckhart Tolle once said, "Realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. Every conscious breath, every mindful step, every deliberate choice to notice the world around you strengthens your connection to life itself. When you pause to watch the sunset, to feel the rain on your skin, to listen to a friend without judgment, you are cultivating a deep, sustainable happiness that no circumstance can easily shake. Take Samir, for instance, a man whose days were consumed by work. Emails piled up, deadlines loomed, and stress was his constant companion. One day, he decided to eat lunch without checking his phone. He walked to a nearby park, sat on a bench, and just observed. He felt the breeze, noticed a pattern of leaves sway in the wind, and for the first time in months, he felt genuinely relaxed. That simple act, a conscious decision to focus on the present, recharged him, making him more patient, more joyful, and more alive in the moments that followed. These small, intentional actions are like seeds. Plant them daily, water them with attention and care, and they blossom into a life filled with vivid, tangible happiness. Focusing on the present also teaches you to appreciate the ordinary moments that often go unnoticed. The taste of coffee, the warmth of a hug, the sound of laughter echoing in a room. Life is made up of these small slices of time, and when you engage fully with them, happiness is not something you chase. It is something you inhabit. By taking deliberate steps every day, pausing, noticing, breathing, connecting, you are training yourself to live fully, to feel deeply, and to savor the richness of each passing moment. And as you practice this, something remarkable happens. The future becomes less frightening, the past less burdensome, and the present transforms into a playground of possibility, discovery, and joy. You realize that life is not a distant goal to reach, but a series of moments to inhabit, fully, consciously, with gratitude and wonder, and that choosing to be present is the most powerful act of happiness you can commit to day after day, moment after moment, as you move through this world alive, aware and fully awake as today. I ask you, will you wait for happiness to find you, or will you push yourself to claim it every single day? Will you wait for the perfect moment, the perfect circumstances, the perfect life, or will you choose joy right now, in this very moment? Push yourself to notice the beauty around you. Push yourself to smile, even when it's hard. Push yourself to forgive, to laugh, to breathe, to live. Push yourself to be grateful for the little things. Push yourself to see the light, even when the darkness feels overwhelming. Because happiness doesn't wait. Life doesn't pause. The moments you let slip by never return. Your joy, your peace, your fulfillment, they are yours to seize, and they are waiting for you in every breath, in every heartbeat, in every choice you make today. Push yourself, push yourself, push yourself, until it becomes who you are, until it becomes your habit, until it becomes your life. And remember this, happiness is not somewhere out there, waiting to arrive. Happiness is here. Happiness is now. Happiness is you. So stand up, look around, take a deep breath, and choose to be happy. Not tomorrow, not someday, not when everything is perfect, today. Your support means everything. If this resonated with you, please share, and subscribe, because the truth is simple but powerful. If you don't push yourself to be happy, no one else will. And if you do, the world will notice. The world will feel it. And the world will change one moment, one smile, one choice at a time. Thank you for being here. See you in the next one.